What's up, everybody, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? It is I, the one and only OP Skills, back for another episode of Victory Gaming Network. Now, today is the day for my long overdue review of Fallout 4. I managed to make it to level 40 on this game. I believe the maximum is level 50. I don't know, but I've been playing a lot here lately, and figured it's about time to do my review. So, anyway, first things first is character customization. First thing you're going to do in the game, obviously. You have the standard basic options, you know, hairstyle, eye color, all that good stuff. You also now have additional things, you know, including, you know, freckles, blemishes, scars, things like that, which is really cool. And next we are going to talk about the dialogue options. Now, this is a topic that has been beaten to the ground by so many people. A lot of people have so much negative stuff to say about the dialogue options, saying that they're really severely watered down. I'm going to be honest here, and I guess, you know, obviously this is my opinion. You know, some of you are probably going to disagree with me, but I don't really find too much wrong with the dialogue options, to be truthfully honest. I guess because I'm used to playing, you know, other BioWare RPGs or other Bethesda RPGs, where you still have the standard 4 basic options. You know, you can be sarcastic, insulting, or kind, whatever it may be. So I'm kind of used to that sort of dialogue system, and it's really not a big letdown for me either, because I kind of feel like now, since we have a voiced protagonist, it kind of makes up for it.
Go away.
Pre-war prologue to the game, or beginning, whatever you want to call it. I was pretty impressed with it. I thought it looked really fantastic. I was a little bit disappointed with it, though, at the same time, because it was, at least in my opinion, it was really short, and we probably will never be able to get to see something like this again from the Fallout series. Next is the stores, things like that you can buy. There is a new addition to the game. One of the new additions, among many others, is pipe weapons. I thought it was an interesting concept. I really like pipe weapons. They're really heavily modifiable. You can customize them to your heart's content. However, if you're anything like me, I tend to use conventional weapons. I tend to use 44s, 9mm, combat rifles, things like that. And whenever you're in the market for a new weapon or play style, it can get a bit overwhelming, because there's so many pipe weapons in the game that, you know, like I said, it does tend to get a bit overwhelming. Now, throughout the game, the main plot of the game anyway, there are different factions that you can side with throughout your playthrough. You've got the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, the Minutemen, and the Institute. The Railroad, basically, they want to fight to free the synths from Institute control. The Brotherhood of Steel, I don't really need to explain them. Everybody knows who they are, what they stand for. And the Minutemen is basically, they're just out for the what's best for the people of the Commonwealth. Now, the Institute, on the other hand, on my first playthrough, I sided with the Institute. And one of the things that I was really kind of disappointed with the Institute. Throughout the game, you kind of have this big build-up to how the Institute is supposedly evil, how they kidnap people throughout the game, and for no apparent reason. And it just, when you finally do meet them, you find out, you know, they're really just a bunch of kooks and lab coats. So it wasn't as satisfying for me, I guess. I mean, I was kind of expecting them to be this big evil corporation or something, but you know, it's just my opinion. It's not really a big deal. I just you know, I kind of felt like if you're gonna have a big build up to them, they need, I don't know, I kind of felt like they should have been a bit more satisfying or whatever. But anyway, we'll get into the next topic to discuss here, and that is the settlement development system. They've now added a sort of Minecraft-ish development thing that you can do with your settlements. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. However, it did feel a bit tacked on to me. It felt like it was kind of added on at the last minute. and there's really not a whole lot of explanation behind it either. I mean, you just kind of, and if you don't really, if you play through the game, I mean, a lot of people may actually end up playing through the game not even knowing anything about it, because it really doesn't, you know, until you get into certain missions where it requires you to build something, you know, until you get into that particular type of mission, you may not even know that it's even there to be explored, because it really doesn't explain it, it doesn't tell you anything about it, and there's really no tutorial for it at all. So it was a bit disappointing. It did feel like it was kind of thrown in at the last minute. But I know a lot of people really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was pretty fun for me. And there are a lot of locations that you can find for settlements, as you can see on your screen right now. You know, there you've got my personal two favorites is Covenant and Sanctuary. Sanctuary Hills is the very first one you will find, and it is, at least as far as I know, by far the largest. Now, next off, you do get power armor in the game pretty early on. It was pretty exciting, but it did feel a little bit anticlimactic, though, in my opinion. And then, overall, I mean, Fallout 4, it's pretty fun. I mean, for all its flaws, it still had me engaged. I mean, some could argue that Fallout New Vegas had a little bit better of a story, and Fallout 3 was a lot less linear. I didn't really feel like that. You know, I do feel like the story was, as I mentioned already, a bit disappointing. If you side with the Institute, I did end up managing to play back through it again, and I did side with the Brotherhood of Steel, and that was a little bit more satisfying for me. So, I mean, overall, I would probably give it about a 6 out of 10. I mean, it does have, for all its flaws, it still keeps you engaged. The VATS mode has changed a little bit. They now have slow motion VATS in Fallout 4 now. You can explore the glowing sea also, which I thought was a really interesting idea, which is basically ground zero for the nuclear bomb before the wasteland and all that stuff, which was really interesting. And the post-apocalyptic Boston is pretty entertaining and amusing to explore, even if most of the houses are disappointingly boarded up. But anyway, that was my review for Fallout 4. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if so, be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and take care.